What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 25 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we continue to advance northward, and this time we'll be going past Altdorf, and probably to take at the very least Karlberg and anything else we can get up here, as we do want Marienburg and the Wasteland territory in its entirety, though the rest I suppose could potentially be left to the Fecundites for now. If later on we want to betray them, we can always explode their cities via Undercity. In addition to that, last time was Scheif's debut as his plague army landed on the shores of the Chevalier de Lyonesse, and we've taken their first settlement. Now, there are some decent settlements here, Kofar and Al Hayek, both of which should be taken shortly, and probably sacked. 14k, and not too bad. I do wish that we could increase your sacking capabilities, but I don't think that we have that ability right now. Now, we also got to give the Shroud of Dripping Death to somebody, but probably not you. Probably we'll give that to our new army. Speaking of our new army, Corpable is going to be our Moor's army, and I did have an idea about how to make his army a little bit different, and that involves using giants. So, Warherd of the Shadowgave, we have 100 allegiance with you, and Warherd of the One Eye, we have 50 allegiance with you. Huh? Why is yours 5 cheaper? Huh? That's weird. 24. 19. I'm not sure. I am not sure, but either way, we're gonna have 3 giants in here because that's the max number. I really think that these shouldn't be shared. It seems kind of stupid to me, and that they're shared between different beastmen herds. Like, these factions might not even have any contact with each other, in theory. I don't even know if they have. I mean, I guess they know each other through our diplomacy, maybe, but it's a little bit odd, wouldn't you say? How would their stuff be shared? Are you saying that there's only so many giants in the world? But once again, if they're in completely different parts of the world, it just seems odd to me. Whatever. Hopefully they fix that. Anyway, in light of that, we won't be needing the Rat Ogres here, and we'll also be building some Death Globes. The Giants shouldn't be nearly as threatened by the Death Globes, and we'll need them to anchor our massive line of Storm Vermin. In addition to that, let us get a Sorcerer. We need at least one in this army. I'm not particularly happy with either one of these, to be perfectly honest, but we'll take this guy, Scheif. Another Scheif, I guess. And then if we get a better one later on, we'll just replace him with the better one. It's just that we can't really do anything right now. This is also going to mean that we won't have nearly as many mortars as I was originally planning to have in this army. But the thing is, I feel like that's probably fine. And we can build another army that's a lot more mortar reliant, maybe full of clan rats instead of storm vermin, because, well, they're going to be more likely to die. But then just tons of mortars and globadiers, and probably led by a warlock master as well. We do have a few extras after all. Also, there was a question in the last episode in the comments about what I'm saving the warp fuel canisters here for. And at turn 52, it's probably not yet for the endgame scenario. We can start saving for the endgame maybe around turn 100 or something like that. The only reason I haven't spent these warp fuel canisters as yet is because I really want to take Marienburg maybe at tier 5 if possible, because I'm really banking on that Marienburg harbor, especially considering the fact that a pretty massive amount of our income is currently from trade. Nearly half of our building income is trade income, so that's really good, and I'd like to keep bumping it up. And Marienburg's a pretty good place to take at tier 5, and it's also another reason why we took Altdorf at tier 3 instead of a higher tier. So if we were to spend a bunch of warp fuel, we'd spend the food correspondingly, and thus would have less food to potentially spend on Marienburg. That's the plan anyway. We'll see if we get to that. Now, let's get moving and doing whatever it is that we need to do. Bell Farmer, keep farming bells, although kind of disappointingly, you have not actually farmed anything. It just says spend idle in a place with a control building, right? It doesn't say you have to level up in that location. I wonder what the percent chance is, though. It's probably really, really low. At the very least, he's adding a little bit of extra growth to the place, so I'll leave him there. And let's see what else we have. Charge lock. You can't hit Carberg this turn, so you're going to have to sit there. And Ikit, you can hit Castle Artois, which we will probably have to do right now. Though I think we can't take it over, or wait, actually we probably can. This is distant enough. But I'm thinking it might be valuable to trade Artois for Carcassonne. I was musing on the idea last episode, and I think that we'd rather have Carcassonne than Artois, mostly because, well, we don't want to be up here yet. The elves will eventually turn on us, but the longer we can wait to deal with them, the better, mostly because they have garbage red territories that we really don't care about. Really, I'd love to once again sick the orcs on them, so if the orcs can do that, that would be just swell. Ikit, we're gonna have you attack in a second. I just want to see if there's anything to be built, and in fact there is not. Alright, well then, I guess we're good. Coast of Araby, I guess you don't collect the income for now. Yeah, we don't want rebellions. Well then again, they'll probably rebel in Al-Hayek, and if they do, Al-Hayek can defend itself, so you know what, screw it. Even the 94 is worth our time. And let's double check the tree places. And we're building all of our chieftain extra locations, and we'll build more packmaster locations as well, so I'm happy with that. And I guess it's time to attack. Alrighty, Ikit, do you need to spend any of your points? You have been saving them for quite a while now. I don't think they are super necessary for the attack, but, you know, we can't just be holding on to them forever. I believe we calculated that we can indeed get these things, although the question is how many of them. Quartermaster is the obvious pick, but honestly, Ikit's army isn't really all that expensive. 4K is really not that bad. He reduces the cost of everything pretty damn significantly, to the point that it almost feels like it's not worth it to get Quartermaster. There may be situations where a lightning strike would be great. Wary is meh. Mine all mine, however, could be useful. Damn, there's just too many choices. We could also hold on to that for now, leave it alone, and apply our points everywhere else until we figure out how many points we have remaining to spend here, and decide that way. Because we don't need anything else in the red line at all. We have everything that we could possibly use in Ikit's personal army. Yeah. So in that light, I guess we'll just be getting his upgrades, his personal upgrades. I might not even bother getting optimized production. Recruitment duration for Doomflayers only in Ikit's army, and we could just... I'm never going to send Ikit to, you know, be recruiting stuff. It feels like it's a waste of his time, even if we do eventually put a couple Doom Wheels in here, and we may or may not. I'm not entirely sure what we would replace, like maybe the 2 Warp Fire Throwers, but I was thinking just replace those with more Warlock Engineers. So, yeah, optimized production doesn't seem like a big enough deal to bother with. And Jetpack and Biometric Interface, however, we can certainly spend points on, and I do like the idea of the extra missile resistance, because it gets on his Doom Wheel and does often get hurt because of it. Now, we have 7 points remaining. Plus the 2, so we have 9. So we could spend 7 points here and still have 2 points remaining to put into the into his spell tree. The thing there is, do we really want to bother with that, considering he has Warlock Engineers to cast for him? He does, however, have the... wait, does he have any reductions to his lore? Let me just see here real quick. I'm not sure that he does. So his Flensing Ruin costs 16, and I feel like yours also probably costs 16. Huh, wait, 14. Wait, 14, 20. 20, 16. Wait, what? Oh, it's because of the level, maybe? Overcast, Flensing Ruin upgraded, cooldown minus 50%, wins and magic cost 3 and 4. Just to compare here. And, oh, actually, he does have better versions of it. More reduction. Ah, damn, okay, no, okay, that means we do probably want to spend points in the tree. I'm not so sure that we want to waste points in Howling Warp Gale. I mean, it's not so much that it's a waste, so much as the fact that we probably cast it rarely enough that we can leave it to the other two. And the same with Death Frenzy. Ikit's army specifically doesn't really care about it. So we could spend the 2 points here, and Flensing Ruin and Crack Skull, and max those out, and we still have 7 points, and we could still get 2 of these, plus Renowned and Feared, if we ignore both Death Frenzy, Howling Warp Gale, Optimized Production, and Trixie. Now, of course, we could put 1 point less in one of these things. Alright, we'll have to think about that. Still not sure about Quartermaster. Now let's do these two. A little bit of admin to start this one off, but we'll do lots of battles here. At least 2, I'm thinking, because we have to immediately attack with Scheif as well in the desert. Now, you can keep going through this. You know what, let's at least get you evasion, so... We're probably not super likely to be using Scorch in this particular army because, well, the enemy has to actually line up for this to be useful. Let's get you Death Frenzy and Evasion for now, and considering Ikit can cast these, I think we'll be okay. Then let's get you Warpforged Armor. And I guess Augmented Weapon and Sneaky, as you may sometimes take damage. We'll do Overseer last, mostly because I don't particularly care about it. And same with you. Let's get you Sneaky. Let's get you Howling Warp Gale, and Death Frenzy and Evasion. Doesn't really matter which one of those. And then let's start moving through Warpforged Armor, Augmented Weapon, and the other stuff. Lovely. Okie dokie, that's you. I believe everybody's moved, so it gets time to attack at Castle Artois. And that'll take all of our movement points. Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting, but not in a good way. Because this means I think we have to capture the place rather than sacking it. Because we want to capture it without letting these guys... Yeah, I'm 99% sure they're in range, so these guys would then immediately take it. What we could try to do is capture it, and then try to trade it, maybe with some money, for Castle Carcassonne. Let's try that. Ikit, go. And close victory, low casualties, but it may be a lie. The enemy does have 2 trebs that we have to deal with. Should actually be an interesting time. Ooh, and they have the Knights of the Lion-Hearted. Yeah. Alright, let's get to it.
It's on!
Alrighty, here we go. It gets moving in, and we are actually deployed this time on a different side than usual. As you guys may have noticed when we previously fought on this map, I pretty much always deploy over in this side, and because it's a relatively short, straight wall, and there's a decent amount of tree cover, and I just think this side is better. But just for fun, because we've done this map many a time, and this time I decided to deploy on this side instead. Will it be significantly different? Who knows? I doubt it, but we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, Ikit's going to move in first, while our catapults and our Warp Lightning Cannon are going to destroy the enemy towers. All of our ranged units are also hidden in the woods here, including our mortars, and are going to continue being such until the enemy towers are down and can't attack us. Ideally, we'd even want to destroy the enemy trebuchets, the 2 sets of enemy trebuchets that are in the enemy settlement, before we move everybody in as well. Alrighty, looks like the first of the enemy towers has already fallen. I imagine Ikit will be through that gate in fairly short order, though he is already close enough to start casting things, specifically casting things at those darn trebuchets. They can certainly knock out models of our weapons team, so I'd rather not give them the chance to do so. Now, this one hasn't been all that damaged, only about a half HP from the Warp Lightning and from that Brass Orb, so we're going to have to continue a little bit. We're also going to start bombarding the walls to make breaches through them so that our weapons teams can fire through once they're ready. Alrighty, and I think it should be just about through here. Just going to speed it up. There we go. And now he's going to move in a few seconds after getting a few more shots off, I guess. I mean, I suppose one thing you could do is just keep him in the gate and allow him to expend all his Warp Lightning ammunition from his Doom Wheel. But once again, we do need to find ourselves those trebuchets and kill them, and it looks like they're actually running away. Now, first the Menace Below comes down and will hopefully damage them, but the enemy is in the way, so Ikit can't quite get to those trebs. At the very least, they're not super far away. There's one here and there's one over there, and they both seem to be trying to escape. The enemy Lord is going to move down, however, and try to block Ikit from getting through. And we're just going to turn around and go for the other trebuchet then. And the other one, I love how he moves and then the Warp Lightning periodically explodes units nearby. Isn't it just glorious? Skaven units are just so damn fun. And there we go, we found the first of the enemy trebs, although Ikit might want to charge this little unit of pox archers, fire arrows. Pox archers are right beside them, or pox arrows are right beside them. And then move around a little bit again. Alrighty, well, it's up to him. In the meantime, bombardment continues, and we've opened up 3 breaches in the walls. Will be 4 shortly. The second tower has fallen, and we should be able to move our weapons teams out shortly and start firing on them with both our death mortar and everybody else. Ikit is still going after those trebs and those archers, all the while completely unharmed or uncountered, I should say, by the enemy knights, which is a little bit unfortunate from the AI side. Their garrisoning army alone had 5 units of knights, 2 knights of the realm, 2 knights errant, and then those knights of the lion-hearted, plus whatever knights were in here as part of the garrison as well. So they really should be using them to try to stop Ikit from moving, which they're not really doing. It does allow Ikit to do whatever the hell he damn well pleases in here, so at least he's having a fun time. He's just going around using that ammunition. And keeping back from those Knights of the Lion-Hearted, which did try to move down. He did pop a brass orb again on the trebuchets here, and these guys are firing now, though I think they're trying to fire at Ikit, so we don't really care about that. In the meantime, we finally moved forward with the rest of our weapons teams, and they're going to start doing damage shortly. Ikit's still at pretty much full HP at this point, though I guess he will probably be reaching his healing cap at some point. The enemy's really kind of mostly just ignoring him. I guess this is a reason to potentially get another couple of Doom Wheels in here. We could be doing this with several Doom Wheels instead of just with Ikit. Though on the other hand, Ikit has his second Wind Serum to just repeatedly heal himself, regardless of what happens. And if we accidentally trap a regular Doom Wheel, it'll be in a much dicier situation. Now, Ikit could try to fight the enemy lord here, but stats-wise, the Doom Wheel isn't really meant for this sort of thing, so we're better off just using it in the manner that we've been using it so far. Must be so irritating not being able to stop this frickin' thing. Moving throughout your settlement. And there we go, we're charging into those trebs again. Unfortunately, the models of the trebs haven't died, but it looks like the crew are pretty much done for. And we still have the other treb to work on, however. We used both of our uses of Menace Below on them, but unfortunately the knights guarding them have done a pretty good job. In the meantime, the Death Mortars have begun their bombardment of the enemy, which is always going to go well. We've seen this thing hit, what, 600-700 kills prior, and I don't imagine it'll be all that different here. And I'm still on the fence as to whether we should get another couple of mortars in here or not. Alrighty, and the Plague Claws are going to continue their bombardment as well. I'll just speed it up a little bit further as we move everybody up. We still have to get those weapons teams closer, and I just wanted to keep them sufficiently far away from the enemy archers and towers. Ikit's still moving around on the inside and has once again caught up to more trebuchets, so it actually seems to have moved closer to him. He's also occasionally dropping those warp lightnings. They're not really doing too much because the enemy isn't blobbed up, but they are continuously healing Ikit via his second Wind Serum. Just gonna speed it up again a little bit annoying to continuously just wait for the weapons teams to get in range, and there we go. Warp Lightning Cannon now working on one of the arrow towers in the enemy settlement. The Plague Claws firing, and hopefully we'll get some shots from the Warp Fire Throwers as well, if possible. They should be able to fire through at least some of these gaps, like this. Come on, there's units right there. Fire, guys, come on. Can't always tell when your units are in range or not. At least the... there we go, and finally. That's exactly what we want those breaches in the walls to look like, and everybody's suddenly firing now. This is kind of a waste, but man, you gotta keep your heads down. Imagine being on top of this wall as just like a medieval soldier with a sword. Rain of bullets all over the place. And there we go, we're pushing the enemy further and further away from the walls by the looks of it. Both the Plague Claws and the Avalanche Mortars have made the enemy retreat. Ikit's actually reached his healing cap and is now being chased by the enemy lord. And this is a little bit of an annoyance, as it looks like the enemy lord is actually sufficiently quick to continuously chase Ikit down. Actually, 126 versus 90 speed does make sense. And like this, he can just keep hitting Ikit, so we're trying to get the heck out of there. All the while, the Death Mortars or the Avalanche Mortars continue to do their work on the bright side.
Send them back to their hells!
Send them back to their hells? Is that what he said? Send them back to their hells? Interesting thing to say about the Skaven. And Ikit's just still being chased down, as we can see. He's now down to half HP with his healing cap taking another 1,000 damage. But now we've arrived and gotten closer to our own lines, so the Warplog Giselles can start firing. We're also going to keep moving around, and there we go. Force the enemy to lift off, and as soon as we do, we force the... we force that Howling Warp Gale and everybody to target him and instantly knock him out of the sky. Damn. Yeah, gotta be careful with that. Ikit got so much more hurt from that little time the Lord was chasing him around as compared to the time that he was actually in the city doing whatever he pleased. Well, not a big deal. The battle is nearly over. More rattling guns, warp fire throwers, Giselles, and mortars firing through the gaps here. Any unit that's close enough is gonna get destroyed. And you just gotta cleanse the place. And we're certainly nearly there. The enemy troop counts dropped by nearly 2/3, or at least will be at 2/3 very shortly. And the enemy can't really do anything about this. Although I suppose this, the terrain of this particular settlement is at least partially working in the enemy's favor. Like, I did try to send these warp fire throwers to actually attack these knights, but unfortunately the knights were a little bit too far behind this little building. Also, I do like how everything's still growing all nice and Skavenly here. I didn't even know we had that much Skaven corruption here, but it's all green everywhere. Huh. Interesting. Maybe Ikit's techno-sorcery is changing the weather. Alrighty, looks like that knight managed to kill a couple of the warp fire throwers. We're just gonna move them back through the gap here, or through the breach in the wall, and if they move a little bit forward, they'll get hit by the Giselles. And I think this is basically the only unit we're fighting right now. Oh, no, there's a couple more units moving in here, but they're getting wrecked as they move in. And that was a little bit too close for comfort. Oh, damn, yeah, some of those shots from that Avalanche Mortar landed on our Warp Fire Throwers. Gonna get them the heck out of there while we continue doing what we do. And I do believe the battle should be just about over. Too few units remain, and those last shots from the Avalanche Mortar finish the settlement off. Lovely. Well done to Ikit's battle line, and it looks like, I mean, we'll just double check for sure, but mostly Ikit took damage, and I think that one unit that got clipped by our mortars, but otherwise, easy little victory. And let's see if the plan works out and whether we can trade this for Castle Carcassonne. Alrighty, not too bad. Ikit unfortunately did get a little bit of hurt on him from Adelard chasing him around. Otherwise, most of the damage that we suffered was honestly just splash from our own Avalanche Mortars hurting us, which at this point we're probably pretty used to. In terms of whether we want to continue attacking from that side or the original side, I feel like I like the original side more, mostly because it feels like it forces the enemy to blob up around. Plus, it feels like it might be a little bit easier to go through and attack those trebuchets, and which is the main problem for Ikit's army right now. Is if the enemy has a lot of artillery and it's in a settlement, there's no easy way to reach them, and only the Plague Claw catapults really. But if they don't have the angle, or they're busy destroying towers, they can't reach them and have to wait for Ikit to do so, or I have to be patient, and that's just not gonna happen. Alrighty, we're going to loot and occupy the place at tier 1, and once again the reason for that is I don't want the orcs to occupy it. Now, we got a free building here. Now, here's the question. Will we be able to trade this to these guys. Let's find out. And, oh, I'm willing to go to military alliance. Castle Artois is worth 26, not too bad. And Castle Carcassonne is worth more, but not much more. Balance offer 7.5k. You know what? I'll take it. It's a tier 1 Castle Carcassonne, tier 3 Castle Carcassonne for a tier 1 Castle Artois. And there's a very good likelihood that this place actually gets retaken by Kurun. Though, speaking of Kurun, wait, let's trade this for a second. Speaking of Kurun, province secured. Ooh, wait. Factions discovered. Okay, I don't see elves here. Ooh, it just made me nervous. I just realized that having traded the settlement, we obviously get booted out of it. Yeah, what about sacking Kurun? Yeah, 17k. So we send a kid up here, then around to Grungzint, and then Marienburg. Maybe the orcs will destroy the... Maybe the orcs will destroy Kurun for good. We shall see. I'd love to take Musion, but we can't do it because we'll identify the elves. And once again, it's not so much that I'm concerned about the elves being better than us. It's just that it's a massive war with all these elven factions that doesn't really give us much of anything at all, because we can't take their territory, and it's just a waste of time that we could be using expanding and fighting Vlad, for example, for all those interior territories. Anyway, Chargelock, you are sitting where you are, and I believe everybody else is as well, so unless there's something else to build or to send or to do, it's not looking like we need to. Also, where is Ratmek? Still a few turns until we could get to the Monolith of Bjorkhill Bloody Hand. Okay, fine. That's fine. Ooh, how much is Bellicor's building making? 2.4k, not too bad. Not too bad. Certainly a prime location for an Undercity as well. Alrighty, and just in case we get attacked before we end the turn, let's apply some points to this guy. We want to upgrade to the Dreaded 13th as fast as possible. We do have Vermintide. Screaming Bell, Envoy of the Council, Horned Rat, that's all fine. Kinda tempted to get the Inspiring Presence. We do want to get Respected and Feared for the Plague Monks upgrades as fast as possible, but then again, plus 6 melee attack really isn't that much of an upgrade to them anyway. Engineering skill would be quite helpful here as well, and frankly, so would Blastmaster. This army's a little bit all over the place right now.
Knows who his boss is.
How much do we want the Dreaded 13th over, for example, getting Quartermaster and stuff early on? You know what, I think we'll go through Ancient Cunning. We'll probably be doing a decent amount of ambushing, but we'll do that after Inspiring Presence. Alright, and then you two, you need to get Vermintide immediately. Yes, Vermintide for you. Vermintide for you. And you don't have Vermintide, but you need to save points to level 5 at level 3, so we'll spend these 2 points and we'll save the rest. Scavenge, Tail Weapon, we'll save 2 points, and then get the various tides that we can get. Alrighty. It looks good to me. Let's end the turn and let us proceed. Skip unassigned skill points, probably not somewhere we care about. Oh right, Castle Carcassonne. Oh, you have a new chieftain location. Wait. A new chieftain location. I don't really care about the Gutter Runner building. Let's delete you and you, just to see. Any good new chieftains? No. Well, this guy's cunning. Alright, take this guy. We'll leave this building up for a turn. And maybe there will be a better chieftain to replace him. Similarly to the Plague Priest. I really wish a Plague Priest didn't cost 1,000 gold to recruit. It's so hard to go through them like that. Anyway, expansion is planning for you, as we will be building a lot of stuff in Carcassonne. And we'll delete you next turn. And I believe now we're good. So, skip the rest of this. Outpost upgrade available. That's an Ogre territory, so we don't care about that. We're building our Giants for Corpable. And he'll be ready by the looks of it in 4 turns. Yeah, 2 turns here, 4 turns here. We will be at... 18 rather. And then we'll have space for 1 more unit, which will be the Council of 13, or the Council Guard, rather, the Council of 13 themselves. Send them to the front lines. Plus these guys, plus a mage. So Slicin won't be needed here, but he might be needed in another army, and we might replace him anyway. Alright, end the turn. Let's proceed. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. As your empire grows, you have to pay attention to more locations. Oh, also gotta keep checking up on Molder. Have they retaken the Hell Pit yet? Let's see. Eastern Oblast. They've retaken the Eastern Oblast, but I think they haven't got Hell Pit. Vlad wants military access. No, Vlad, we are going to betray you shortly. Which is why we haven't been trading with you. Although, perhaps what I should have done, and I slightly regret, is we probably should have gotten a trade agreement going with Vlad like 30 turns ago. We would have made a decent amount of cash from all that, and then later on, we could have just betrayed him. Ambusher discovered, Hugrim Deepbrow. I don't see why we'd care. These guys are not near enough to us to be concerned with. There's an imminent oh, actually, they're getting closer, but they haven't taken Akentorf, which is what we want them to do. And, oh, damn. Look who it is, Gut Flag. He's near to Migdalvan Galbarak. Will he siege it like this? I don't know, but I kind of don't want him to. Can he actually reach this place? Not sure about that either. Also, where's this rebellion? 13 ways to die. Whoa, research plus 100. That is nice. Let's give this a quick read. The Council of 13 has decreed that the Warlock engineers must step up their research efforts on pain of death. A breathtakingly grisly list of execution methods has been circulated, each devised by the 12 Earthbound Council members, the 13th being simply a sacrifice to the Horned Rat. Unsurprisingly, your research rate has increased faction-wide. Hey, that's a good way to get them to research stuff quickly. Now, we were researching ensure quality product, and we will continue to do so. It's just too good to miss out on, as it buffs up all of our Skryre stuff, and that's the stuff that we have a little bit of a favoritism, I suppose, toward. Ikit, you're gonna head out to Kurun, which... Huh. It just bumped itself up to 20k. Did it just upgrade? Well, that's just lovely. We could always use the cash. Go up here. And I imagine the orcs are actually going to take it over immediately after we sack it, which I guess is fine. Oh, are you not able to reach it? No, you're able to reach it. You just stopped without prompting. This is actually quite weak. We might be able to just auto-resolve this. We could then just go back to our own territory here, or our allies' territory. We could also risk taking it. I'm not entirely sure that it's far enough away from the elves, and the question is, do we risk it? The thing is, I fear that if you take Kurun, it'll count as having vision through this location as well. But then again... don't we technically have the vision of our Orky allies? And if we do, considering we're in a defensive agreement, they're certainly not showing us this faction. You know, I'm gonna have to think about that. There's other stuff to do. We'll deal with that afterwards. Ikit, you're good at charge lock. You're heading out to Karoberg, and you're gonna sack it, and then you're gonna take it because it's got a pasture. I'll resolve this. That's way too much damage, but we're used to it. And sack first, ask questions later. Free Obsidian Amulet, I think that's our second one, so we can turn it into something that isn't absolute garbage. Loot and occupied at tier 1. Save the food, keep saving the food. And we need the food for, well, we need the pastures, but we need the food for Marienburg. I'm really banking on Marienburg here. Morphific. Now here's the question, do we wait... do we kill Migdalvan Galbarak? Do we just give up on trying to get Gelt to join us? Do we risk Migdalvan Galbarak being taken by the ogres? I'm not sure they're close enough, but they might be. This is taking 42% of your movement, and this is taking 12, so by the looks of it, it feels like it's probably enough for them to get up here. A little bit unfortunate that, that Gelt didn't come back. And I'm not sure that we want to risk it. And by risk it, I mean allowing these guys to take... Alright, screw it. It's just 6 armor. I mean, it's good for many types of armies, but I guess yours won't be it then. Alright, fine. Auto-resolve it. Take it. Loot and occupied at tier 1. Alrighty, province secured, and we'll immediately go into expansionist planning here. Delete you, demolish, and upgrade you as well, I think. And there we go. Morphific, we're also going to be retrofitting you shortly. And the question is how and where. You're disciplined, so you could... oh, right. You have the badly mutated and you're disciplined. And you're a boom master. Okay, I think I know what we'll do with you. We'll change the Skaven slaves to clan rats, and we'll keep the poison one globardieres, but add a bunch of mortars as well. And that'll be it. And maybe a couple more warp lightning cannons. They probably actually won't need the Tuskor chariots then, but we could transfer them to another army or delete them. Probably not delete them. And they cost us a pretty penny, I think, in terms of allegiance. Now let's take a quick look at our new heroes. Sorcerers, Confident, Well, confident is better than whatever garbage we got previously. It's not great, but it's better. Eh, fine. Take this guy and take out Shife, I guess. Yeah, no Shife. You can join the Moors army, and while we're at it, I wanted to take another look at the chieftains in case there's a better chieftain as well. Chieftain strategist. That chieftain didn't get replaced. Okie dokie, well then. Goodbye to you. And hello to Dyes, and, Cinnabar Mining Pit rather, and hello to, well, whatever, after we replace that. Alright. One more turn for you, 3 more turns for you, but we're certainly getting there. I'm excited about trying this army out with the Giants. Still kind of disappointed that we can't build more Giants. It would have been great to have like 6 Giants in one army for free. I guess it would be kind of obnoxious, but still, would be fun. Slicin', we'll keep you around. We'll keep you around, but we need to send you somewhere where there's a idle building, so we'll send you here. Maybe you can be a bell farmer as well, at least for a little while. Also, have we reached the Dread Fleet? We should have reached them now. Faction encountered... Yes. Stop. Has it been encountered? Dread Fleet, yes. Alright, so. Let's talk, Nocti. Alright. Yes, you already want a trade agreement and a non-aggression pact, and you're fighting the elves. Well, isn't that just perfection? Let's do that. Get a little bit of money from you. Lovely. And maybe we'll get some Necrofex Colossi. Yeah, there's a few things. Too bad we can't somehow take the Queen Bess. I'm just... Yeah. Imagine the Queen Bess modified with, like, warpstone stuff. Makes me feel all kinds of ways. That would be magnificent. Although I just want a mod specifically doing that. The Queen Bess being the best artillery piece in the game, and the Skaven would absolutely love to get their little paws on it. It would be glorious. Anyway, that distracted me thoroughly, and I've completely lost my train of thought here. Mutant. Oh, right. You are not really needed. I mean, you could just stay with the slave army. You know what? We could give you the Tuskor chariots while you and Morphific start working together. We just won't need the Death Squad and stuff. Actually, speaking of those units, here's what I want to see. Ooh, there's a disciplined assassin. Okay, we're gonna summon you. Because who knows when we'll get another disciplined assassin. And it might be time to start building yet another army. We do have the assassin building here, so we can start building Ixchus Triads. We can... we don't have the Plague Abbey, so we can't summon you guys. That's a little bit unfortunate. Alright, maybe it'll be too early, slightly, for the... And it's Pestilent Tenay, the tier 4 that you need. I guess we can build it at Skaven Blight, but that'll be a while. We could also build it at Nuln, but it'll also be a while. We could go without the poisoned version. That doesn't feel right. And Death Runners and Eshin Triads would need the various types of slingers to support them. I'll think about it. Maybe we'll get rid of one of the buildings in Skaven Blight, but it is generating a ton of cash. Anyway, we have limited time remaining in this episode, and I did want to do one more thing, and that one thing was going to be to attack Al Hayek here. Or I suppose we could attack Kurun. Well, we could auto-resolve Kurun. This one I think we can't auto-resolve. It's a similar sort of defense, but you will probably be too weak. You're not Ikit after all. Alright, let's quickly fight those. Ooh, this guy might attack us as well, but yeah. Let's go to Al Hayek. Pyrrhic victory, yeah, and a unit will die as well. Okay, fine. We're gonna fight one more battle cinematically before we call this episode, so let's get to it quickly. Alrighty, here we go. Shife's work continues with his new army, and let's see how effective they are this time around. Should be a little bit potentially more difficult than the fight at Fyrus, mostly because the enemy has a fairly decent garrison at this high-level territory here. I know, I just noticed that this is a vampire territory. Oh, you gotta love the vampire architecture. It's just so glorious, and oh my. Is that a statue or is that alive? No, I think it's a statue, but it's... Oh yeah, okay, there we go. There's multiple of them. Oh, that's pretty cool. I never noticed this detail. And I tend to look around at vampire maps quite a bit. I can certainly see that thing coming alive, though. It's a nice entrance. Alright, anyway, distracted, as usual. Let's check back on what the army is doing. Now, compared to the Ikit battle a few minutes, well, I guess a dozen minutes ago? I'm not sure at this point. We will do this a little bit differently. In fact, we're probably going to try to pull some vampire tactics, which is completely appropriate considering that this is a vampire settlement. And the reason that this is going to be vampire tactics is that we now have access to 3 Vermintides, also some Pestilent Breaths that we're going to use immediately on some of these units in here. But yeah, we've got all these Vermintides available, we might as well make use of them. Also, it looks like the Warplock Giselles can actually fire on top of the walls fairly decently, as long as they have enough of an angle, so we gotta keep that in mind as well and try to put them on hills, and they can occasionally snipe some units off the walls, which is lovely. Snipers as they are. Alrighty, now the gate's gonna take a few seconds to go down, so let's just speed it up while our units work on that. And maybe a little bit more, there we go. Alright, good enough for me. Gate should be down shortly, and I'm sure the walls shall be breached, as well as those magical floating bushes. I hadn't noticed that before. Alrighty, Plague Claw's working it. The gate is broken. The rest of our army is moving in. Both of the Plague Monks and the Poison Wind Globadiers, which are going to start annoying the units on top of the walls. But after they're breached, we'll be attacking the units behind the walls by arcing over them as well. Unlike the Warp Fire Throwers and, like, well, pretty much everything in Ikit's army, we can actually make use of our arcs. Alrighty, and here comes the little rat command squad here. I really like that there's 3 different types of, 3 different types of units in this. Alrighty, and here we are. The first of the Vermintide comes down, though there will be plenty more of that. We can also send in our 4 units to actually fight here in melee, while the Foot Squires take damage from our lords. They will do damage only pretty much to the summoned clan rats. In addition to that, we have used our Menace Below to attack the enemy field trebs. The Menace Below got killed by the Pegasus Knights, but fortunately the trebuchets are pretty much out of the picture as well. We have also used a decent amount of ammunition on our artillery at this point, but they're still at halfway, so I think we're pretty okay for bombarding these guys until the end. We're not going to stop moving into the settlement, though, as the breaches are about down, and there's plenty more Vermintide we can summon to continue blocking hits. And every single kit that comes from our artillery pieces that lands in the Vermintide, we once again don't care about. There we go, our little rat command squad moving in, working together. It'll be nice once they have their furnace and their screaming bell, but that'll be later. Ooh, and here come some Pegasus Knights, immediately taking some hits from their Warplock Giselles, who are hiding right behind this gate, and we're also going to start summoning Vermintide on top of these guys as well. The Pegasus Knights can certainly be a threat to our command squad, but when they get so many hits on them from our Giselles and from our Plague Claw catapults, they probably won't be alive for very long, as they are a fairly fragile unit. In fact, by the looks of it, the Pegasus Knights are basically already dead, 102 HP remaining. Well done to everybody, and really well done to those Plague Claw catapults firing. Look at the angle. This was a very tight angle to fire in the middle of all this. And we continue. None of our own units have moved into the settlement other than, I think it's like a 4th or 5th use of Vermintide, and we're just going to keep this up. Very well done, everybody. And the Plague Claw catapults are providing support, same with the Poison Wind Globadiers, and the enemy just keeps throwing more troops into the Rat Grinder, and, well, they're getting grinded down as well. Yeah, looks like they're all pretty much done for, and it looks like they've also left the center of the battle line where our command squad here is. Glorious. All right, I'm already enjoying this army very much. I like that it's playing very differently already to our other armies, and we haven't even had to apply any of our plague monks yet. Plague monks are going to get hit with some pox arrows from the enemy, but I don't think they care too much about that. Resistant as I imagine they would be, and here comes yet another Vermintide on top of the enemy archers and on top of the enemy running foot squires as well. Looks like one of the last units of knights that are alive has charged in, but right where a unit of plague claws and a unit of poison winds can hit them, though a lot of their shots go into the wall, it's just fine, and the enemy knights of the realm can get the heck out of there. Plus, the enemy settlement is now filling up with plague monks, and in a one-on-one, while a foot squire would probably be able to kill a plague monk unit unbuffed, I think at this point, especially with the support we have, they're not going to be able to achieve too much. And now we're moving our supports, speaking of, in as well. Here come the Poison Wind Globadiers. And they're gonna kill this unit of men-at-arms with halberds, I wanna say. There we go. Very, very nice, and these guys are getting the heck out of there as well. Enemy buildings destroyed, the chain route is here, and the Vermintide is victorious. Lovely. An auspicious beginning for this army and its use of mass Vermintide, I think. Decisive victory as well, and I think we took barely any damage because we really didn't have to commit any non-summoned troops to this, so it works for me, and this means that even if the enemy does try to attack us in reprisal with that little army that's sitting outside the settlement, I forgot what that other settlement's name was, I think that they don't have a chance to kill us, even if they bring a full stack to help them out as well. Alrighty, there we go. Very, very good. And there was that similarity to the undead style of gameplay because of the massive summons of Vermintide. Quite useful and fairly similar to summon zombies, or raise dead rather. But I personally prefer raise dead. It's a little bit better in my opinion, but Vermintide ain't bad. And it's absolutely glorious when you have a bunch of Plague Priests. I remember last time I played Lord Skrolk, I had, I think, 4 maybe Plague Priests in his army, and it was just all Vermintides and Plague Claws, and it was hilarious. You are going to occupy Hayek, but the question is, what... How do we occupy it, as in what level? I'm inclined to say tier 3. Tier 4 would be good. It has salt, and it has a harbor, which means if we get it at tier 3... it'll just be salt, harbor, and wall, and nothing else, which means no growth building. But we could grow it via Kofar and Phyrus. And with the ports, I should say, with the Kofar Harbor, it should still grow fairly quickly. I suppose the only thing is, would it still be takeable by the Cult of Sigmar? And the answer is maybe, but with an army nearby, maybe we'll be good. Alright, tier 3 it is. I've convinced myself. Let's occupy it like so. And... will this take us to yellow? It'll take us to yellow, won't it? Yeah, it will. I should have waited to build buildings before doing that, but maybe another battle, like, for example, the battle for Kurun, will take us back up to green. What are we at here? We're at 59%. Yeah, so I think one more battle will get us the food we need to build stuff. Anyway, unfortunately with that, we are very, very much out of time, though we have made some very nice gains and have got 46,000 gold to play around with. Our new army is coming up with regards to the Moors army, so maybe we'll be seeing that next episode. Plus, we'll try to book it towards our Clan Eshin army as well, which is why we're building this stuff at Nuln, which should be a pretty fun time as well. Then only a Molder and a clan. Huh. Wait a second. 1 second here. I don't see Tretch. Tretch starts here now, doesn't he? Tretch might be dead. I'm not 100% exactly sure where he starts now, but it should be, I think, somewhere here. Alright, if he's dead, I'll get the Recruit Defeated Legendary Lords mod, because we can't be missing out on Clan Rictus. We have to have all the clans, and if Tretch is dead, well then he'll lead the Rictus force to retake the Tower of Gorgoth, or whatever it is that he likes down here. Anyway, we'll find that out when we send somebody out there, like we're currently doing to find Clan Pestilence with one of our Bell Farmers here, who is also very appropriate for finding Clan Pestilence. Stay tuned for more battles, as there's plenty more to go both here and up north as we continue to expand our empire. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.